Research password recovery procedures. The purpose of this lab is to research the procedure for recovering or resetting the enabled password on a specific Cisco router. The enabled password protects access to privileged exec and configuration mode on Cisco devices. The enabled password can be recovered, but the enabled secret password is encrypted and would need to be replaced with a new password. In order to bypass a password, user must be familiar with the ROMMon mode, as well as the configuration register setting for Cisco routers. ROMMon is a basic command line interface software stored in ROM that can be used to troubleshoot boot errors and recover a router when an iOS is not found. You will begin by researching the purpose and settings of the configuration register for Cisco devices. You will then research and detail the exact procedure for password recovery for a specific Cisco router. Research the configuration register. To recover or reset an enabled password, a user will utilize the ROMMon interface to instruct the router to ignore the startup configuration when booting. When booted, the user will access privileged exec mode, override the running configuration with the saved startup configuration, recover or reset the password, and restore the router's boot process to include the startup configuration. The router's configuration register plays a vital role in the process of password recovery. In the first part of this lab, you will research the purpose of a router's configuration register and the meaning of certain configuration register values. Describe the purpose of the configuration register. What is the purpose of the configuration register? The configuration register can be used to change how the router boots, options for booting, and console speed. The purpose and use of the configuration register on all Cisco routers. The purpose of the configuration register. The configuration register can be used to change router behavior in several ways. How the router boots, ROMMon, options while booting, ignore configurations, disable boot messages, console speed, baud rate for a terminal emulation session. What command changes the configuration register in global configuration mode? The configuration register can be set from configuration mode using the config-register command. What command changes the configuration register in ROMMon mode? From ROMMon, use the confreg command. Confreg. Determine the configuration register values and their meanings. Research and list the router behavior for the following configuration register values. Hexadecimal 2102. Hexadecimal 2102. Ignores break. Boots into ROM if initial boot fails. 9600 console baud rate default value for most platforms. Okay, for the configuration register value hexadecimal 2102, A router will load the IOS from the flash memory, then load the startup configuration from the NVRAM, if present. If no operating system is found, the router will boot to ROMMON. Hexadecimal 2142. Hexadecimal 2142. Ignores break. Boots into ROM if initial boot fails. 9600 console baud rate. Ignores the contents of non-volatile RAM, NVRAM. Ignores configuration. For the configuration register value hexadecimal 2142, a router will load the IOS from the flash memory, ignore the startup configuration in NVRAM, and provide a prompt for initial configuration dialog. If no operating system is found, the router will boot to ROMMON. What is the difference between these two configuration register values? The hexadecimal 2102 settings is for normal router operation. The hexadecimal 2142 setting bypasses the startup configuration, allowing a user to recover or reset the enabled password. Document the password recovery procedure for a specific Cisco router. You will describe the exact procedure for recovering or resetting a password from a specific Cisco router and answer a question based on your research. Your instructor will provide you with the exact router model research. Detail the process to recover a password on a specific Cisco router. Research and list the steps and commands that you need to recover or reset the enable secret password from your Cisco router. Summarize the steps in your own words. Okay, before to start, I will configure my router with go to TeraTerm serial interface, the Cisco serial, okay, COM21, okay. Then enter. Would you like to enter initial configuration? No. Enter. Okay, enter. Enable configure terminal. Okay, and set a host name. For example, R1. Now the host name is R1, as you can see. Configure interface gigabit 00 with IP address. Okay, not shut down. Exit. Create a banner. Okay, enter. Create a banner. Message of the day. Okay. Recovery password. Okay, configure the passwords. Enable secret password. I will use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The line console password. Line console 0 password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Login and exit. Line on BTY 0 to 15. password 1234567 and login. Then exit and okay, copy running config to startup-config. Okay, enter to confirm and exit. And you can imagine that you don't know the password. Okay, this is the line console password. For example, Cisco class CCNA. Again, Cisco class CCNA. Okay, and you don't know the password, and this is the problem. Okay, so close TerraTerm and shut down the router. Okay, shut down the router. Okay, first establish a terminal connection using console, cable, and TerraTerm. Okay, the router is shut down, is power off, and connect the console cable and on TerraTerm Cisco serial COM. Okay, okay. Power on the device and boot to ROMMON by either removing flash and rebooting or selecting immediately Alt-B during a reboot. Okay, or removing flash and rebooting or selecting immediately Alt-B during a reboot. Not both, only one procedure. So power on the router, power on the device, and go to Control, Send Break, Alt-B, Send Break, Alt-B, Send Break, Alt-B, Send Break, Alt-B. Okay, read only ROMMON initialized. Okay, Control, Send Break. Okay, and you are on wrong monitor. Okay, ROMMON. Use the confreg command. Okay, confreg hexadecimal 2142. Okay, enter. Okay, you must reset or power cycle for new config to take effect. Then reset. Reset. Enter. Okay, and wait a minute. Initial configuration, no. Okay, here, would you like to enter initial configuration? No. Enter. Okay, the answer is no. Enter. Okay, and enter. This is the prompt. No password request. Okay, is going to the prompt, directly to the prompt, and no password. Enable command. Enable. Okay. No enable password. Okay, review the running config. Show running dash config. The host name is router. No configurations on gigabit. No banner. No passwords on lines. Okay. No configurations on running config. But review startup config. Startup dash config. And now you can see the hostname is R1 enable secret, and I don't know the enable secret. Configurations on gigabit interface, the banner, recovery password. Okay, and now you can see the passwords on lines. Okay, this is my password on line console and password on BTY line. But if the passwords are encrypted, you will not know what the passwords are. Okay, space, and copy the startup config to running config. Okay, you can see startup config has the configurations. Okay, and you want to set and recover new passwords without losing configurations, and copy the startup dash config to running dash config. Okay, because startup config has the configurations and running config with no configurations. So copy, enter, enter again. Very good. Verify, show running dash config. Now you can see all configurations on running config, the interface, banner, passwords. Conf term to go global configuration mode and reset all passwords. Configure terminal. Enable secret now. Enable secret class. Okay, now my password is class line console 0 password Cisco line bty 0 to 15 password Cisco exit. Now reset all passwords. Okay, exit again and privilege exit mode. Enter show version space space. Now you can see your register is 2142 hexadecimal 2142. You need to change this to 2102. Okay, so use this command config-register on global configuration mode. Global configuration mode. Config-register hexadecimal 2102. Enter. Okay, and you are on privilege exec mode. Enter and verify show version. Okay, configuration register hexadecimal 2142 and will be hexadecimal 2102 on next reload. So you need to reload to apply changes. But copy running config to startup config to save the new passwords. Okay, but don't forget to copy running-config to startup-config to save the new passwords. Enter, enter. Then reload. Okay, reload, enter, confirm, enter. Okay, enter. And I know my password, my line console password is Cisco. And when you enter enable command, I know my enable password is class. And very good. Show running config. Enable secret password. I am not losing configurations. Gigabit interface configured, banner, and line, line console, and line bty passwords, the new passwords. Okay, remember, I am not losing the configuration. Answer questions about the password recovery procedure. Using the process for password recovery, answer the following questions. Describe how to find the current setting for your configuration register. Okay, use show version space space, and show version will provide the current setting for configuration register. In my case is the normal hexadecimal 2102. Describe the process for entering ROMMON mode, removing flash and rebooting, or selecting immediately Alt B during a reboot. What commands do you need to enter ROMMON interface? Okay, the question is what commands you need to enter on ROMMON interface? What commands do you need to enter on ROMMON interface? Okay, the real question is what commands do you need to enter on ROMMON interface? Okay, these are the commands. You are on ROMMON. The first command is confreg hexadecimal 2142, and the second command on ROMMON is reset. Now you are changing the register, then reload or reset. What message would you expect to see when the router boots? Okay, this is the message. Would you like to enter initial configuration dialog and answer no? If a router does not load the startup configuration, a user would expect to see the message, would you like to enter initial configuration dialog and answer no. Why is it important to load the startup configuration into the running configuration? Okay. Copy the startup configuration to running configuration because startup config has the previous configurations and running config will not have configurations. Loading the startup configuration into the running configuration ensures that the original startup configuration remains intact if the user saves during the password recovery process. Why is it important to change the configuration register back to the original value after recovering password? On global configuration mode, config-register 2102. Returning the configuration register to the original value will ensure that the router will load the startup configuration during the next reload. Why is it of critical importance that a router be physically secured to prevent unauthorized access? Because the password recovery procedure can only be performed using a console connection, which requires direct physical access to the device. Preventing unauthorized user access to the physical device is an imperative part of an overall security plan. Thank you very much.